The Big Q, in association with Nguvu Cement.
And that story that comes with a sigh of relief leads us to a big question tonight, in which we ask, do you think the teachers' strike was worth it? Do you think the teachers' strike was worth it? Well, send us your yes or no answer with a short comment to the number 8040, and Smart and I will sample them during this newscast. I now hand you over to James Smart for an expert analysis on the teachers' strike. Smart?
Choose Nguvu for undoubted strength.
All right, and in studio with me, I'm joined by Janet Mudhoni Oko, who's the Executive Director, Elimu Yetu Coalition. Karibu sana, thank you very much for making time to be with us. Now, this madness appears to be over, but at the expense of the students. 24 days lost out of teaching, out of school time, and these students are going to do the same exams with the ones in private who've been in school. How possibly can they make time out of this?
I think, it's becoming quite unacceptable, really, the trends that we are seeing at the public sector, because every other time we find ourselves, fixing problems that should not have been there in the first place. And now we are here asking how we are going to make up for the lost time. But really, can we be able to make up for the lost time? And I think what is happening now is really a very big inconvenience, even to the private investors, because we are talking about a sector or a government that cannot be able to offer public education for all its children, and therefore we are encouraging public-private partnerships. But such scenarios are not favorable, because what we are going to be seeing is a situation where now the private candidates are also now forced to sort of compete with people really they cannot compete with, because in the first place they have been on for the 4 weeks, and now we are saying that they're supposed to be at the same. So it's really not fair, and I think it's time for government to reflect on all this, because every other term we're talking about we have lost so much, how can we catch up, and it's becoming messy.
Indeed, and that's going to be my next question. Just today, the Cabinet Secretary of Education has said that the schools are going to be closed indefinitely. Earlier on, of course, this development of the strike being called off just happened a few hours ago. But the most important thing is, as we reflect on this, the strike is off now, but the issues of teachers have not been resolved, if you like. As an actor, as an observer in the education sector, how do you think this country can finally have a conversation with teachers and a conversation of our education system?
No, I think it's up to governments to take leadership, because what we are seeing now is a situation where some players can wake up one day and decide that they're putting the sector on its knees. So really, and I think for government, that is not a very good indicator. Remember, we're having millions of children that are supposed to be secured by the same government. The right to education is supposed to be protected by the same government. And here you're having 1 month, a whole month, and the sector is paralyzed. So I'm looking at a situation where a government will want to really sort of not even just fix this situation now, but chart a way forward. We do not want to lose any more day, any more week to probably a teacher strike or something, because this is becoming a trend.
How do we make up for it?
The only way we can make up for it is by I wouldn't want to say that for the government to listen to what every other stakeholder is talking about, but can the government be decisive? What do they want? They want quality education. So can we pay our teachers well? At the same time, can we control the sector so that teachers are not waking up and saying we have this sort of demands, even courts rule that those demands are illegal, and then we just let things to go on for 1 month? So we're talking about a government that has sort of lost control of the sector, and it's really not
my final question after you. End of this year, students are going to sit, class 8 across the board, whether in private or in public institutions, are going to sit for an exam. Is it fair for those students who are in public institutions? They've lost 24 days of classwork, 24 days or even more, of teachers, tuition, and stuff like that. Is it fair for them to sit for this exam?
It is not fair, but what do? Look at the scenario now. Learners have lost a lot of time. Parents have lost a lot of money, and so many other things that cannot be quantified, really, because you're talking about, you don't even know the number of girls who've fallen pregnant on the way. You don't even know the number of children who've gone to drugs and all that on the way. So parents have lost. But what have teachers lost? So there is some sort of impunity here that if government does not arrest it, we are just going to find ourselves in in the same cycle of things, talking about how can we recover the number of years, but we just cannot. Even if we would extend the term by 3 weeks, it wouldn't compensate the public students because we shall also be increasing 3 weeks to the private students. So they will have completed their syllabus and they will have 3 weeks to revise. So there's no way really that you can compensate the public students really.
Janet Muthoni, thank you very much for making time
Most welcome.
to talk to us tonight. Well, I'll be talking to the Executive Director of the Elimu Coalition, Janet Muthoni, and she's offered her thoughts on the current education situation in the country.